30, my Amish father erased one name from our family Bible. It was mine. My thumb found it before my eyes did. A roughness on the thin page, no bigger than a robin's egg, where the paper had been worn soft and gone slightly gray. The parlor was cold. My breath stood in the air, like something I had said out loud and could not take back. In the kitchen behind me, my sister was humming a hymn whose words I had forgotten. I was 71 years old. I did not yet know what my thumb was touching. What I am about to tell you, I have never said aloud to anyone living. My name is Mary, and I grew up outside Gordonville in Lancaster County. On this channel, I tell the small, quiet things plain women carried and did not say. If you have ever found a piece of yourself in a drawer after a funeral, stay close. Tell me where you are listening from tonight. Bible sat open on the parlor table where my mother had left it the week she died. Brown leather, cracked along the spine like dry corn husk. The Ausbund tucked beside it, its red ribbon limp from years of folding. I had lit the kerosene lamp out of habit. The electric bulb above me worked fine. Some mornings the hand remembers what the head has let go. Room smelled of mouse and beeswax, and a little of my father's pipe, though he had been gone 11 years. I sat down. I opened to the births page. My thumb landed before my eyes did. The page was the births page, the one my grandfather had started in 1847, slanted hand crossing the top like a fence line. Below his writing, my father Amos had taken up the pen, 10 children listed in his careful, square letters, Daniel, Sarah, Jonas, 10 names. I counted them again. There should have been 11. I knew there should have been 11, the way a woman knows a chair has been moved an inch in a room she has swept for 40 years. My thumb went back to the roughness. The paper there was thinner, lifted, worn down to almost nothing by something that had once been rubbed away. Did not name what I was touching. Not yet. I sat with my hand flat on the page the way you sit with a hand on a forehead that has gone cool. In the kitchen, Rebecca was running water into the kettle. Humming. She did not know what I was finding. She did not know I had already found it. Clock on the mantel struck 8. The lamp flickered once, the way a lamp flickers when someone walks past it, though no one had walked past. I felt my chest go still, not loud still, the kind of still that comes when a body decides on its own to listen. A family Bible in a plain home is not what it is in an English one. It is not a shelf book, it is the record. Births, deaths, baptisms, marriages, all written in one hand and then the next, passed down like a kitchen table. In the home I came from, your name in that book was the proof you had been here. The Ordnung, the way of our people, taught that names belonged to the community before they belonged to the person who carried them. I am not telling you what the Amish do. I am telling you what was true in my father's parlor, on my father's page. A family Bible in a plain home is not what it is in an English one. It is not a shelf book, it is the record. Births, deaths, baptisms, marriages, all written in one hand and then the next, passed down like a kitchen table. In the home I came from, your name in that book was the proof you had been here. The Ordnung, the way of our people, taught that names belonged to the community before they belonged to the person who carried them. I am not telling you what the Amish do. I am telling you what was true in my father's parlor on my father's page. I was 7 years old the first time I touched that same page. My father lifted me onto the kitchen chair, the one with the split rung he had been meaning to mend. He put the dip pen into my hand and folded his own hand around mine. Mary, born the 3rd day of April, he wrote slow, so I could feel each letter through his knuckles. His pipe smelled of cherry and barn. Scratch of the nib on the paper was the smallest sound I had ever heard a man make. When we finished, he said the sentence I have carried all my life. A name in this book is a name God can find. That afternoon, I picked a violet from beside the well house and pressed it into his palm. He did not smile much, my father, but he closed his fingers around that flower, like it was a coin he meant to keep. Here was a woman in our church called Lavina Stoltzfus. Her oldest son, Eli, left for the English world the summer I was 13. I remember Lavina at the singings after that, her voice steady, her face calm. What I remember more is the day I saw her open her own family Bible in her kitchen and run a line of black ink straight through Eli's name. She wept then. She did not weep the day he left. She did not weep at any of the holidays he missed. She wept at the page. In the home I came from, the page hurt more than the door. I cannot speak for every plain family. I can only tell you what I saw in Lavina's kitchen and what I would one day understand in my own. Clock kept on. Rebecca poured the kettle into the brown teapot, and the small sound of water hitting porcelain reached me like it was coming from another house. I looked down at my hands still flat on the page. I let the sentence out, quiet, way you let out a thing you have been holding under your ribs for half a life. The name he erased was mine. I closed the Bible. I did not lift the cover all the way. I felt the back of my hand brush something dry and light inside the pages, something thin, something that had been waiting there a very long time. My fingers stayed inside the closed Bible. Whatever had brushed my hand was light as a moth wing and just as still. I opened the cover again, slow, way you lift a lid off a sleeping child's basket. There, lying flat against the erased page, was a violet, brown at the edges, purple gone almost to gray, still holding the shape of a small girl's gift. I did not gasp. I did not weep. I said only the two words a woman says when she finally understands a thing she has carried wrong for half a century. He kept it. He kept it. He kept it. And then I remembered the porch. 6 months before my father died, I had come home for a short visit, kind that is more duty than welcome. My mother and I sat on the back porch shelling peas into a blue enamel bowl. She did not look at me when she said it. She rarely did when the thing was heavy. Your dad rubbed your name out, she said. Weak, the bishop came asking for the death roll. He said, if you were not in the book, they could not put you in the other book either. That was all. The peas kept dropping. A barn cat walked past the porch step. My mother reached for another pod, had not understood her then. I had heard rubbed your name out and stopped listening, the way a woman stops listening to a doctor at the first hard word. I had carried home the wrong piece of that sentence. For 23 years after that porch, and for 24 years before it, I had believed my father erased me because I had left. Because at 24 I had walked out past the well house with one suitcase and no prayer, cap, and never come back to stay. I had believed the smudge was a door closing. I sat there now on the parlor floor with the Bible in my lap, way a child sits, knees folded, and I let myself see what the smudge had really been. My father had not erased me to cast me out. He had erased me to keep me off another list. The list the bishop was about to write in his own hand, the one that named the daughters who had gone and would not be coming back. Amos had reached for the eraser before the bishop could reach for the pen. He had taken my name out of the book of births so that no one else could put it into the book of the lost. A small, quiet disobedience. Done on a Tuesday alone, with the lamp turned low. Done without telling me. Done, I think now, without telling even my mother until years had gone by and the danger had cooled. Both things were true. My father did erase me. My father did love me. The hand that lifted the ink was the same hand that had folded around mine when I was 7, and taught me the letters of my own name. I am not here to tell you the Ordnung was kind. It was not kind to him. It was not kind to me. It was a rule that put a man between his daughter and his church, and gave him no clean way out. He found a way that was not clean. He found a way that looked, from where I stood, like the worst kind of rejection. And I spent 47 years building a life around a wound he had already tried to bandage in secret. I did not ask. I also did not ask. I also did not write. I also did not come home on the Tuesdays when the lamp was low. I am telling you only what my mother told me, and only what my own hand has touched. The plain world is wide. Not every father would have done what mine did. Some would have signed the death roll without lifting the pen from the page. I do not know why mine did not. I only know his name, and I will say it now, because I have not said it in 47 years, not at his burial, not at my mother's. His name was Us. Tell me, in the comments tonight, if someone ever loved you in a language you only learned to read too late. I will read every one. You may be carrying a smudge of your own, a place on the page of your life where someone you loved looks, from the outside, like they wiped you away. A father, a mother, a husband who went still, a church that closed its hand. Before you close that book for good, I want you to do one small thing. Turn the page once more. Run your thumb along the binding. See if there is a violet inside. Sometimes the people who looked like they erased us were the only ones bending low enough to hide us from a worse erasing. Sometimes the rough place on the paper is not a wound. It is a hiding place. You may be carrying a smudge of your own, a place on the page of your life where someone you loved looks, from the outside, like they wiped you away. A father, a mother, a husband who went still, a church that closed its hand. Before you close that book for good, I want you to do one small thing. Turn the page once more. Run your thumb along the binding. See if there is a violet inside. Sometimes the people who looked like they erased us were the only ones bending low enough to hide us from a worse erasing. Sometimes the rough place on the paper is not a wound. It is a hiding place.